Hey guys, LJ here from LJ Films, and it's been a long time that I haven't done a post-production tutorial, and today we're gonna cover audio. And audio is a really big thing in video, and if you have a bad audio, you can expect a lot for your audience to enjoy your video. And audio plays a big role, and if you have bad audio, probably most of your viewers will just end up quitting watching your video. So I'm gonna do a tutorial how you basically enhance your audio and make it sound like more cinematic. And the reason why I'm doing tutorial is because again, audio plays a big role, and the other reason is that I've never seen a tutorial. I've seen some tutorials where they basically remove the noise, background hiss, but I've never seen a tutorial where they basically enhance their audio to sound like ADR quality. And what I mean by the ADR is like a dubbing in voice, and but some are done on set. And to enhance that audio is really hard thing unless you're a professional audio. And again, I'm not an audio expert, but I know what I'm doing and I know what it takes to make a sound better, and I'm just gonna share with you guys. And the tools that I'm gonna be touching are some Vegas, because I'm a Vegas user, and for you Vegas user out there, it might be helpful for you guys, and Premiere as well. And I'm not gonna use Premiere to enhance the audio. I'm gonna use the Audition to clean up the audio and do better stuff. But for you Vegas users, there are some ways you could actually get some great audio. So let me just import some media. Okay, I have imported two files here. Basically, I recorded video and audio separately, and that's basically called dual system. And that means I record audio in a separate device and you record video in a separate device, and you basically sync them up in post. And the only way you're gonna get great sound is to have a microphone near the talent or the subject. And if you can afford a microphone, there is always a cheap alternate. So one great tip is to always have a microphone close to the subject, and that's the only way to have great sounds. So I brought down the video clip right now, and the audio itself,
when did this start?
is not that bad. The audio was recorded from a 60D, but like we can make this a little bit better. And so we have a sound here, and I'm just gonna sync it up. And that's easy to do. Basically, you just line the audio levels up and basically you're done. I'm gonna delete the audio file. Click U to ungroup from the video device and click delete, and I'm just gonna delete this video audio track, and I'm gonna group them together. And so as you can see,
bothering me for 2 weeks, and it's all the same neighbors.
You can see a big difference right there. And it's okay, you can stop right there, but we can enhance this video, the audio, sorry.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks, and it's all the same neighbors.
As you can see, it's
this girl.
really grating sound. But I don't know if you can hear this right through the video, but like there is a background noise. You hear that? I don't know if you can hear that well, but there is a background noise, and that's something we could try removing. And if you hear the audio,
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
It was recorded by a shotgun mic and recorded into a recorder, but it does not pop out a bit, and we can make this a little bit crispier and sound better like cinema. So let's do it. Vegas Pro used to be an audio recording software, so it really have a great audio features. And by clicking this audio track effects, if you apply the effects onto the track, it's gonna be affected to the track. So that's one thing to think of before you apply your effects. And by default, there is a noise gate, EQ, and compressor. I'm not gonna go too deep what's an EQ and compressor, but usually noise gate is what actually do with noise, and EQ are equalizers, and basically the frequencies, and you can control them individually if you want to increase or decrease. And compressor is basically compressing your audio to sound it a little bit better. I'm not gonna go too details on that, but I'll just show you how it basically works. You can also use some VST files. Vegas reads VST files, so you can have a VST. I have a Waves VST, which is really nice product. And we're not gonna use Waves because it's not a free program, but I'm just gonna use something what's built in with Sony. what I'm going to add here is a graphic equalizer, graphic EQ, and parametric EQ. Here we go. And if I click OK, it will appear right here. And I'm just gonna compare these three EQs right here. There's a track EQ, graphic EQ, and parametric EQ. Again, in a track EQ, you have 4 channels here basically, and what you see here, plus 15 is plus 15 dB. So once you increase this, your audio will be gained by 15 dB. And basically, I'm just gonna bring back to on. So you're gonna increase the frequency from 80 to 20 into 15 dB. So only the frequencies will be affected by the gain, and if you decrease it, only the frequency will be removed. So it's a really good way. But you know, this track EQ, the only bad side about this EQ is that it only has 4 channels. So you have the lows, the mids, and the highs. And let me show you what are the highs. Basically, once you increase the highs, what will happen is, let me just bring the microphone to the speaker.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks. And
these are the high frequencies, such as the sounds, and basically if you gain that up, the sound might increase those kind of high frequency sounds, and these are the lows. So basically, once you increase those, your voice will sound really deep because those are the lows. You can consider that as bass, and once you decrease the bass, you're gonna sound like you're in a telephone. So it's one way to, you know, mess around with it and see it for yourself. And these are the mids, and I'll show you how it sounds if once you increase those.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
As you can see, that, you know, that really horrible sound. So that's basically it. You can, you know, mess around with it, but I never play with track EQ. It is a great plugin, but it does not give you enough room to play with. And what I like the most is the graphic EQ. It's a graphic equalizer, and there's some presets you can mess around with, but never stick with the presets because your audio is never gonna sound the same all the time. And it's gonna deal with this kind of clip right here. I'm just gonna loop that.
Bothering me for 2 weeks, and it's all the same neighbors. I don't know,
Okay,
it's been
okay.
bothering me for 2 weeks,
So I'm just gonna make these audio.
it's been bothering.
Sorry, I'm just gonna make that audio keep playing so that you can see the difference, what's going to happen. And what I want you to do is spend a little bit more time when you're touching audio, because you know you can never come back to it, and once you're editing, it's always a good idea to take your time on editing. So I'm just gonna, you know, let you hear what's going on. And what I usually do, as you can see, there are the frequencies and plus 24, so you can increase it until 24 dBs. And this is graphic equalizer, so you can basically control the EQ by a graphic, so you can make a graph and control your own, and you can have a lot of points, and basically, you know, mess around with the frequencies, and you know, it's a really good way. And after you're done, you can make the output gain, you know, a louder, you know, something like that. But what I really stick on is the 20 band, because you know, your drawing may not always be, you know, perfect. So what I always stick with is 20 bands. It's like a track EQ, but with a little bit of more controls. And what I usually do is increase all of them, one channel by one, and I hear the difference. So what I'm going to do,
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
once you double click on it, it goes back to 0. So what I do is bring it up and see the difference. If it sounds good, I let it stay that way. Same goes to the second one.
It's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Sounds good. Leave it like that.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Not that much. Maybe probably
I
there.
don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks, and it's all the same neighbors. I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks, and it's all the same neighbors. I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
And if you try to increase it, and if it sounds not good, you want to decrease it, because you know, those are the frequency that you don't want to hear. Let's just say there's some voice that it really sounds horrible. Basically, you want to decrease those because that's the one you want to avoid. So basically, you're increasing what you want to hear and decreasing what you don't want to hear.
for 2 weeks and it's all the same neighbors. I don't know.
Okay, that sounds horrible. I'm gonna decrease that a lot.
It's all the same neighbors. I don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
That's horrible.
It's all the same neighbors. I don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks
And that's very bad. So I'm gonna decrease that more.
bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same neighbors. I don't know.
That's bad also as well.
It's all the same neighbors. I don't know. It's been bothering me
Okay,
for 2
that's
weeks.
bad.
It's all the same neighbors. I don't know. It's been bothering me for
That's
2 weeks.
horrible.
It's all the same neighbors. I don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same neighbors. I don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same neighbors.
Not that
I
bad.
don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all
Those are the S's.
I don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Okay, it sounds okay. So I'm just gonna increase that a bit.
I don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Good.
It's all the same neighbors. I don't know. It's
That
been
brought up the
bothering me
noise. I'm
for
gonna
2
decrease
weeks
that.
and it's
Alright.
all the same neighbors.
I'm gonna pause that for a while.
Bothering me.
As you can see, we made a graph here, and if you go back to envelope, we actually made a drawing here, but we couldn't do that if we actually did it onto our own mouse. Basically, we increased what we wanted to hear. Some whatever it sounds good, we increased it, and whatever that sounds bad, we decreased it. And that's how you mess around with the EQ. But as you can see, we increased 24 dB. And that's, you know, something that you never want to do, you know, mess around with video, or same goes to audio. You only want to make a little difference to make it better. You don't want to, you know, make a little bit of big difference and, you know, it's not gonna sound well. You know, ear kind of works the same with the eyes. So when you're doing color correction, your eyes tends to stick with that color a lot. And if your ears, you know, tends to listen what you're used to be listening, you know, you'll be used to it. But for the persons who's gonna listen to the audio for the first time, it may sound weird. So what I always do, I'm just gonna see the audio here. You can see that we increased 24 dB, and I never go above 5 dB. So since 24 is a 5, because 24 is the maximum and 5 is the maximum for my mind, I'm gonna do some mathematics here. Since 24 is the highest, I'm gonna bring it up to 5, right around there. And since that is 5 as well, I'm bringing it up to 5, and 5 as well. And this is around 10, and 24 minus 10 is around 3 or 2. So I'm gonna put it around there. Same goes to this. Same goes to that. So what you want to do is never go above -5 or +5, and you just want to make a little bit of difference. I'm just gonna pull back up everything and pull some of those down as well. Okay, I'm done. And basically, this is the chart, how it looks like, and we're gonna hear how it sounds like.
I don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Very crispy. And if that sounds kind of low for you, can increase the output gain.
No, it's been
Basically, that's gonna increase everything. So, you know, that's the EQ. And same goes to the parametric EQ, but I'm not gonna go too detailed here because I think I already wasted a lot of time talking about the equalizers. Basically, let's talk about compressors. Here we have the track compressor. As you can see, you might be lost with the input gain and output gain and some threshold, but I'm gonna show you how it actually works. Basically, there are some great presets right here. Sorry about that. I'm gonna stick with a -12 6.1 and let's see how that sounds like first.
I don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same neighbors. I don't know.
This is without.
Bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same neighbors.
As you can see,
I don't know.
it's buried into the audio, but if we increase this,
I don't know. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same.
it pops out the audio and it sounds a lot better.
It's been something.
There we go. Basically, I'm not gonna go too much of a track compressor, but what we have to focus here is the threshold and amount and attack and release. And what threshold is a threshold where you want to target. So how much you know, negative decibels you're gonna target to compress the audio. So basically, if I've targeted -12, because usually my audio was recorded -12, and if I set that to -12, something that's below -12 will be compressed, and the amount is how much amount of compression is going to take occur. So if you want more of that, you can increase it. And attack and a release is basically how you want it to affect. So, you know, mess around with this and see it for yourself. You know, you do the same thing as graphic equalizer, do some trials and errors, and if it sounds good to your ear, it always sounds good. And don't forget to do minimum of difference. And that's basically it. I don't really fix my audio in Vegas. I usually do it on Audition. And let's switch over to Premiere right now. And I'm just gonna create a new project and call it tutorial. And give that time to load. I'm gonna choose DSLR 24p. Very good. Okay, here we have a files, and let's import the same clip we imported a while ago. Okay, here we have two same files, and I'm gonna drag that to our timeline. And you can use some third-party plugins to sync them separately, but I'm just gonna do it using, you know, my own hands to sync up the audio. Let's do that real quick. Drag the audio and let's just zoom in a bit. And by seeing the waveform, we can make a great adjustments. There we go. That's pretty much close. And I'm just gonna unlink it and delete the audio files. And choosing these two files, I'm gonna link them so that they will stay together. And let's zoom in a bit. And here we have the files.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Great. And again, Premiere does not really have great, you know, audio controls. So I'm gonna head over to Audition. And what's really cool about Premiere CS 5.5 is the workflow between a Premiere and to Audition. And you can quickly do that by right-clicking in the audio file and going to edit clip in Adobe Audition. And it's gonna render it, and it's gonna replace it, and it's very, very simple and fast. And as you can see, my Audition is on there. Again, I'm not gonna go too detail how Audition goes, and I'm just gonna hide this because, you know, these are the complicated stuff. I might really do a tutorial on Audition. Just leave a comment if you want me to. It's just that, as you can see, these are the WAV files. And that's basically it.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Okay, that's the audio we've been working on, and let's enhance that a bit. As you can see, we have a large waveform here. That's because the person is talking, and here it's a moment of silence. And in that silence, what is there is a noise. A room noise and ambient noise is a really good thing. You know, without ambient noise, it sounds weird. It's not always a good idea to remove noise and, you know, sounds like a robot or stuff. But it is always good to minimize the room noise, and so that people can concentrate on the vocals. So what I'm going to do, before we recorded the audio, we gave a little bit of 5 seconds of silence so we can capture some room sounds and an ambient sound. And it's always good to record an ambient and room sounds before the audio. So I'm going to click effects. I'm just gonna go a little bit of slow for beginners out there. So I'm gonna go to noise reduction and noise reduction process. I'm gonna capture noise print. So basically it's gonna capture a noise, what's right there. So we selected the noise, we captured it, and Audition thinks that those portions are noise, and Audition is gonna read what are the noise on this whole file and remove it. So we're gonna select entire file because we like to remove the noise from the all file, and we can preview it.
But I just can't help it. I feel like,
and if you want to see the difference, you can turn this off and turn this on.
I feel like I'm missing something.
It did a great job, but again, I want to have a room noise in there because we don't want to remove completely. And so what I'm going to do is control by the noise reduction and reduce by. And noise reduction is the percentage of how much percentage is going to remove of the noise you selected, and the reduce by is how many dBs you're going to increase the noise. So 40 dB is what I always stick at, and what I first do is try to see. I'm going to play around with these settings while I'm listening to the audio.
No, but I just can't help it. I feel like I'm missing something.
Here's a good place. And again, after I've done that effect, I bring it back to -20 because -40 is sometimes a lot. I'm gonna select entire file, and I'm not gonna go again in the advanced, but you can control with the advanced if you want to. Click apply. It's gonna take a time here, and what I really like about Audition is it's really fast rendering. Alright, good. As you can see, alright, I'm just gonna undo that. Try to see right here. when there was a silence here, as you can see, if you see this strong kind of yellowish, that is basically because there are lots of files there, and basically that means person is talking. And when there's nothing here, that means it's an ambient sound. And if we undo that again, as you can see, the noise is removed and the voice is kept there. So we didn't touch any voice there, and there's a little bit of still ambient noise, as you can see.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same neighbor.
Great. So what I'm going to do next is treat this audio the same way we did before, EQs and compression. What's really bad about Audition is that if you apply an effect on here, it's immediately gonna save the audio as is. So what I'm going to do is add the effect on effect rack, so it's not gonna harm the audio. So what I'm going to do go select is filter and EQ and graphic equalizer 20 bands, as same as before. There's lots of preset here, but what I really like the most is a vocal magic breath. What it basically does, it's not a lot of big difference. As you can see, you don't even mess around with few decibels here, but once you start to add compressions and such, it's gonna make a whole lot difference. Okay, now what we're going to do is add some compression. So we're gonna go to amplitude and compression and go to multi-band compressor. I don't usually stick with the preset a lot. I am a manual guy, so but preset is always a great point to start. So I'm just gonna,
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2.
Good. And there's a lot of presets here. There's a broadcast, de-esser, pop master. What I really like the most among all this compression is pop master. What pop master does is basically compresses the audio and increase the audio sounds. And I'm just gonna pick a point where the person is talking at the maximum level. It's around there, and as you can see, the update's right on here. Basically, this is a waveform that shows you basically where it is. And here's a little bit of tip: you don't want to stay as pop master, because again, preset is just a starting point, and you can mess around with these lines. And again, there's a hertz here. Basically, these are the frequencies, and since we don't want to cut off his voice, and as you can see, this is a wave here, and we like to stick the line into almost in the end, but we don't want to stay the whole, we don't want to keep the whole orange. We want to cut off until where it's really taking place, right around there as well. And in this, for the second line, we like to close up at the green. So what we're going to do is
bothering me for 2 weeks.
Hear this audio.
The same neighbors.
So here's what you want to do. If you see some blue lines, keep it up into the line. You want to separate the lines into blue, orange, and green and pink. So I've done that. As you can see, orange is kept here and blue is kept here. Green is kept here and pink is kept there. So after you apply the pop master filter, adjust it to yourself, and you're basically done. Again, there's a lot of ways doing it. There are better, more professional audio audio softwares out there, but this is just a way how I can show you. And again, we didn't affect the original audio file, but we can hear the difference because it's added on the effect rack.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks and
sounding awesome. And if we see the difference,
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
This is with it off and this is with it on.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Sounding good. And again, you can see that without the compressor, it stays on -12. But if we increase the compressor, it stays on 3. So 3 is I always like to keep my audio at -6 or 12. So what I'm going to do is again add another EQ here, and this is optional. You can end up right here, and then again it already sounds great without it. But what I'm going to do is make it sound a little bit better, and this goes to same thing what I did before with Vegas. You can choose parametric, you can choose graphic equalizers or anything, but I'm gonna choose parametric. I'm gonna stick with default and listen to this audio file.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same nightmares. I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same nightmares. It's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same nightmares. I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same nightmares. I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same nightmares. don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Great. I'm doing the same thing like Vegas. Trial and error and see what sounds good. And I'm gonna decrease that to 5, -3, -5,
It's been
-5.
bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same nightmares. I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's
There
all
we
the
go.
same nightmares. I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks.
Sounds a lot better with the equalizer on.
I don't know, it's been bothering me for 2 weeks and it's all the same nightmares.
So that's basically it. It always depends on what you're actually recording. It may vary because every scene is different. If you want to sound your audio more scary, you can reverb it, and you can reverse the audio and all that kind of different stuff. There are more great stuff to play with in audio, but these are the basic things to do to enhance your audio to sound like more ADR or more cinematic sound. So I hope this helps a lot. I might do more tutorials, just suggest it below and what you want to know, and I love to share what I know with you guys. So that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.